great uncle used to play live on the radio. Cowboy Slim is what he went by. In 1952, a buddy of his wanted to sell him this guitar. Initially, he didn't have the money and didn't want to buy it. His friend told him pay him when he got the money, so he paid him the $50 when he got the money, and he passed away in December of 1989, and then I got it.
The back and sides are crafted from Brazilian rosewood, a tone wood now heavily regulated due to its scarcity, while the bridge and fretboard are made from solid ebony. Its original lower-grade wartime tuners are still intact, a detail that guitar collectors obsess over. Because many owners would later replace those tuners with modern upgrades, untouched hardware like this tells a rare story of authenticity.
This is a C.F. Martin guitar. C.F. Martin guitar started in New York City in 1833. By the time this guitar was made, they had moved to Nazareth, Pennsylvania, where they are today. It's a 42 style. 42 means that it has the pearl around the body. It doesn't have the pearl around the back and sides. It's also called a triple O. That's the body size.
Perhaps most famously, this model gained renewed fame in the early 1990s when Eric Clapton played a Martin 0042 on his iconic MTV Unplugged performance. That connection pushed the guitar into the collector's spotlight, solidifying its place in modern music history. But this particular guitar doesn't just ride on reputation, it shines in its own right.
This guitar was made in 1941. 1942 was the World War. They quit making fancy things for a while, so 1942 was the last year that they made this model.
Okay.
They did make a fancier model. They made a 0045, but for some reason, the 0042 has become the rarest and hardest to find of the pearl guitars. It was kind of the poor man's pearl guitar. It was an inexpensive guitar from day one, but it only had the pearl on the front.
When it was appraised live on the Roadshow, the guest mentioned he'd once had it evaluated in the early 90s through photos and was quoted a price of $10,000. That alone seemed generous at the time. But what he didn't expect was the jaw-dropping reappraisal.
This is an extraordinarily nice, clean example. I would put the value of this guitar in a retail environment between $65,000 and $75,000.
It's pretty good.
That sound good to you?
Yeah, not for sale, but it sounds good.
Oh, good, good. It's in an excellent playing condition, so there's no reason not to play it.
No.
Yeah. In this environment, a lot of things have gone down in value. It's going to hold its value in any environment.
Some guitars spend decades tucked in closets, forgotten. Others ride trails, soak up stories, and become part of the land they travel. This 1938 CF Martin 0042 was never just an instrument. It was a cowboy's constant companion, strapped behind his saddle as he led trail rides into the Grand Canyon, serenading guests beneath the stars. Crafted in Nazareth, Pennsylvania during the final years before World War II, 0042 stood near the top of Martin's pre-war lineup.
It belonged to my husband for many years. I'm not sure exactly when he got it, but it was in probably the early 40s.
Now, and was he a musician? Did he play this guitar? Or?
Yeah, he was a cowboy, and he played the guitar. And he was a musician.
He did play.
Yeah, he could make that sing. And he played it all his life.
With pearl inlays glowing along the fingerboard and body, and ivory binding outlining every curve, it was a guitar made with pride and precision. Its Adirondack spruce top provided unmatched tonal clarity, while its Brazilian rosewood back and sides offered deep, rich resonance. The kind of sound that fills the air and lingers long after the last note fades. This model was only produced in limited numbers between 1918 and 1943. Today, it's considered one of the most collectible and revered acoustic guitars of that era.
Now, do you remember how much your husband paid for it, or did you ever know?
No, but because he had very few funds, I suppose he picked it up at a pawn shop, but I don't know.
And he never breathed a word to you of what he paid
never
for?
told me.
Well, this guitar today, I think, to collectors would easily sell between $20,000 and $25,000.
Oh, yes, it's not for sale, but it's nice to know that.
Good for you.
Yes.
Right.
A Fender Stratocaster that had been quietly resting in storage for years. This wasn't just any Strat. It was a 1962 Fender Stratocaster in custom sonic blue, one of the rarest finishes Fender ever produced. Inspired by 1956 Cadillac paint and borrowed from DuPont's automotive color line, sonic blue never caught on commercially in its day, which now makes surviving examples incredibly valuable.
My daughter got tickets for the Roadshow, and it's the only thing I could think I'd bring, because it's the only antique thing I've got at home, besides my wife.
So how long have you had it?
About 52 years.
Really?
Yes.
And are you still playing it?
Oh, yeah, I play it every day.
What has really sent these kind of into the stratosphere is the fact that John Lennon and George Harrison had a pair of them, and they used that on Nowhere Man, and there's session photos of those two guys playing matching sonic blue Stratocasters for that recording session. Now, George Harrison later repainted his with all kinds of fancy swirls and things like that, but he continued playing that guitar until he died. The John Lennon one has been in storage for who knows how long.
This particular guitar was bought in 1965 at a pawn shop for just over $100. It saw years of playing before the owner realized it was becoming a collector's piece and retired it from regular use. Smart move, because sonic blue models like this, especially in original condition, have become icons in the vintage market.
Have you ever had a real appraisal of the guitar before?
No, not really, no. That's what I've been offered, but
So what were you offered for it?
I was offered $35,000 for it one time, and then I refused that, and they offered me $40,000, but I refused that too.
A guitar like this might bring $45,000 and maybe even higher. So it's definitely desirable.
No, it's good. Good to know.
This was given to my father for his 11th birthday in October of 1962. I know that it's a left-handed Fender Stratocaster. I know that it was special ordered, however, not by my grandfather who bought it for him, by somebody else who didn't have the money to pay for it. And so it was available just sort of on a fluke. And that's about all I know.
And this is your father here?
Yeah, this is him posing with it.
Well, this is a Fender Stratocaster. So popular at that time, all the great rock bands of the time, the Ventures, the Beach Boys, they all used this guitar.
This Strat wasn't just rare because of its left-handed setup, which already places it in a small category, but also because of its Olympic white custom finish and a distinctive slab rosewood fingerboard, used only during a brief window that year before Fender changed its design. Light, clean, and barely played, the guitar has survived in stunning condition, still nestled in its original case. Back in 1962, it sold for just $289.
The serial numbers on the instrument, we can tell the year the instrument was made. And we know it was in 1962. You have a sales brochure from 1962. Right. You can also see that the white is in very good condition. This guitar is just almost perfect shape. There's very little wear on the instrument at all. This was a very light guitar, made it very easy to play. These instruments are highly desirable today because the way they play, the history behind them.
While left-handed guitars can sometimes be trickier to sell, collectors know the real prize when they see it. And this one is a near-perfect time capsule from the golden age of electric guitar.
I've consulted with my colleagues on this, and we believe that in this preservation, you have the original case and everything, we put a value at retail of $48,000 on it.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
Oh my.
I'm as excited as you are. It's a great guitar, and it's just, it's really fun to see it.
Wow, thank you. My dad is gonna be very surprised. Maybe I'll sell it back to him.
When this guitar was purchased in the early 60s for around $300, It was a big decision, a stretch, maybe even a risk. But more than half a century later, that purchase turned out to be something extraordinary. A nearly untouched 1957 Fender Stratocaster.
I bought this from a gentleman I work with. He bought it from a guitar instructor in Ogden, Utah. I bought it in 1960, 61, and it happens to be a 57. And I've really enjoyed playing it. I've taken
still play
lessons. Yes.
Okay. This is a model Stratocaster, you know that. The Fender
Yes.
company made it in 57. It's possible that it's a 58, and it's in blonde finish.
I understand they didn't make the blonde finish until 58. Is that
That was
right?
the Olympic white finish. But you can see a lot of the grain through the finish here.
Yes.
That makes me feel more like this is the blonde finish rather than Olympic white. The Olympic white was a bit more opaque white finish. This you can see through a bit more.
Uh-huh.
And you can see the serial number right there, and that shows me that it's sometime in 57, but I think quite late 57.
Complete with its original tweed case, strap, and even a period-correct Fender Deluxe amp. This Stratocaster shows off its wood grain like a badge of authenticity. The neck, smooth, fast, and famously playable, with a maple fretboard, black dot inlays, and original pickups still intact. This guitar hasn't just aged well, it's barely aged at all. Everything about it screams original. The tremolo bar, the decal, the hardware, all as it was back in '57. And because the owner never modified a thing beyond restringing and basic neck adjustments, its value has only climbed over time.
All solid body Fender and Gibson guitars have gone a little bit crazy.
Is that right?
So I would say this one in this condition, which is I'd say about a 8.5 of 10 scale, in a retail situation, this outfit with the case and the strap and the amplifier and the guitar being this original, $50,000 to $60,000.
Oh, my word. Takes my breath.
This guitar isn't just any Fender Stratocaster. It's the 47th Strat ever made, built in 1954 during the very first year of production. That means it's practically a prototype, a true pioneer in the history of electric guitars.
Well, the easiest way to date a Fender Stratocaster, obviously it's an old one, is to look at the serial number, and that's found on the back plate at the base of the neck. And as we look at that, we can see it's 0047. This is literally the 47th one made.
Except for some knobs and pickup covers that wore out over time. A common fate for plastic components from the era. The wood? Ash, cut in a rare, straight grain pattern almost like a violin's, giving it both beauty and tonal clarity. When this guitar changed hands for $3,000 over a decade ago, few could have predicted how much its value would soar.
Today, a 1954 Stratocaster would be valued at auction between $50,000 and $70,000. And I think that not too much would be taken off just for the knobs and the pickup covers being replacements. But this is about as close as we're going to get to the original thing. Yeah, great piece. Thanks for bringing it in today.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
This 1954 Gibson Les Paul Standard Gold Top isn't just a guitar, it's a family heirloom, passed down from a father who bought it right after returning from the Army. Nestled in the heartland of Illinois, it was purchased from a local music shop and has been cherished ever since.
Right here is where the serial number is.
Stamp.
That 4 is going to be indicative of 1954.
Okay.
And then the numbers that follow are going to be production number, that sort of thing.
Okay.
This is a fixed arm Bigsby. This is a very uncommon tremolo and not very often seen factory. This was usually a modification made later, but this is actually factory original Bigsby.
Though it shows signs of being well played, the guitar remains remarkably clean, with no cracks or major damage. Its warm, golden finish still shines, carrying the tone and history of over 6 decades.
In the condition that it's in, and it's very clean, there's no breaks, I would put a retail estimate of $45,000 on this one.
Is that right?
Yeah.
My dad would have been pleased to know that for sure.
Yeah.
When this 1961 Fender Stratocaster was bought fresh off the shelf for $350, it marked the beginning of a lifelong journey for its owner. Not just any guitar, it came equipped with a rare bird's-eye maple neck, a detail that guitar enthusiasts immediately recognize as special.
We've got to look at these pictures because these are a view. You were a real hipster back then, 1961. So you're the original owner of this guitar.
Yeah.
Do you still have the boots?
No, they're gone.
But you still have the hat.
The
and
hat,
the hat is fantastic. We've got the original Fender, we call this the hang tag, but it was actually the instruction booklet, so you were good, you held on to that.
Over the decades, this Strat has never been refinished or altered, preserving its original character and charm. What really sets this guitar apart is how the years have gracefully aged it. The pickguard and control knobs have faded into a soft greenish tint, a subtle yet striking sign of genuine vintage wear. These natural changes tell a story no restoration could replicate. A story of decades spent making music, inspiring players, and aging like fine wine.
Have you ever had this appraised at all?
This one guy, he wanted to give me $2,500 for it.
Okay. How long ago was that?
About 9 years ago.
9 years ago? Okay.
Yeah.
So the present value of a guitar like this, trading on the open market, is going to be about $18,000 to $20,000.
Oh, wow. I should have bought two of them.
This 1938 Martin D18 is a guitar with quiet power, a straightforward design beloved by bluegrass and folk musicians for its warm, clear tone. Passed down through a family where music was a part of everyday life, it belonged to a man who wasn't a professional musician, but still found joy in playing, even sharing a radio moment with George Goebel back in the day.
This was my father-in-law's guitar, and he purchased it from his brother, who was a professional musician.
He didn't give it a lot of hard playing, and most importantly, he didn't have work done on it. The back and sides are made of mahogany, which is acoustically a very, very fine wood, even though it's not very showy. So these actually work better with recordings and microphones. Now, the front of the guitar is made from spruce that came from the Adirondack Mountains.
Really?
Inside the guitar, we have a stamp on the center strip that says C.F. Martin, Nazareth, Pennsylvania. And on the upper block, where the neck is actually set in, it will have the model number, which is D18, and it will have the serial number, which we can date to late 1938.
1938 was a pivotal year for Martin guitars. This model features advanced bracing, an internal design change that improved the instrument's tone and projection, a feature that collectors and players prize highly. Though it shows signs of gentle use, it remains mostly original, with only a light, clear coat added to preserve it.
And that just means a clear coat of varnish to cover up some of the wear that's happened to it. But that's not a big deal, because in today's market, the replacement value of this guitar with the advanced bracing would be about $28,000 to $30,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my. He would be so proud. It's such an honor for him. It really is. He was such a great guy.
Well, it was my dad's. He bought it in 1953 from a pawn shop in Dallas. He scraped up money and went hitchhiked there and bought it at a pawn shop. I know it says 1952 on the neck.
On the end of the neck. So you've taken the neck off, and does it have also some initials?
I know it has TG 82552 on the neck.
We can look down here to confirm that date of 1952 by the serial number, which is stamped on the bridge. Also, it has pole pieces on the pickup that are even across the top instead of at different heights.
It's a piece of rock history, carrying the signature craftsmanship of one of Fender's legendary neck makers, Tadeo Gomez. The guitar's transitional design reflects that pivotal year, a mix of screw types on the pickguard and control plate, a solid clue for collectors. Its pickup features pole pieces aligned evenly across the top, a subtle but important detail from that era. What really sets this Esquire apart is the neck. The initials TG on the heel stand for Tadeo Gomez, whose necks are prized above almost all others for their tone and playability. These guitars are known to scream when plugged in, a sound that has shaped countless records.
Have you had any kind of an evaluation done on it?
No, we looked on the internet. It was about, we thought it was about 10,000 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay. I would conservatively rate this at about $25,000 as a bottom end, but probably closer to $30,000 because it's so clean for the year, and just in consideration that it is Tadeo Gomez.
Wow.
So a collector would mean a great deal.
Okay.
This 1944 Martin D28 herringbone guitar is a true treasure among vintage instruments, especially prized by bluegrass musicians. Though the story that it once belonged to Hank Williams turned out to be more legend than fact, its own history and craftsmanship speak volumes.
You inherited this guitar, right?
From my brother, yes.
Tell me a little bit about how he wound up with it.
He was in college in Colorado, and him and a friend had gone to a pawn shop. They spotted this guitar, and the man at the pawn shop said that it was once owned by Hank Williams. So being a poor college student, though he was having second thoughts, he finally decided he would just purchase it.
So this is like in the early to mid-70s?
Yeah, around there.
And what did he pay for it?
I think he paid between $250 and $300 for it originally, yeah.
One of the things that I would put to rest first is that I don't think that Hank Williams actually owned this guitar, but he did play a Martin D28.
What makes this D28 so special is its scalloped bracing, a design element Martin used for the last time in 1944. This internal feature gives the guitar a rich, resonant sound that many players consider the holy grail of vintage acoustics. Though the scalloped bracing was discontinued due to structural concerns, the tonal quality it produces remains legendary. Built with Adirondack spruce on the top and Brazilian rosewood for the back and sides, the guitar also features its original herringbone trim, a distinctive decorative touch. Some parts like the tuners have been replaced, which is typical for an instrument of this age, and a light overspray finish was applied at some point, but nothing that detracts from its authenticity or value.
I talked with my colleague over at the table, and we both agree that this guitar would retail for $35,000 to $45,000.
$35,000 to $45,000?
$1,000.
Well, that's kind of more than I thought. Well, that's great. That's unbelievable.
I just want to strum one chord on this so people can hear how wonderful this is. You hear how full that is? It's just got a great sound.
Maybe I should take guitar lessons.
I would.
This 1959 Gibson ES-355 mono carries not only vintage style, but also a personal family legacy. Purchased by the owner's father shortly after his time in the Marines, this guitar was found through a classified ad and came bundled with an amplifier and case, a bargain at the time for $300. The ES-355 model was introduced just a year prior, in 1958. But this one is special because it's a mono version, which collectors often find more desirable than the more common stereo models.
The 335 came out in 58. In 59, this model was introduced. Usually these were stereo. The mono is a little more desirable. The Bigsby is factory. The cherry from this era is unlike anything they ever did. It's sort of a watermelon. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, well, I love the color.
And they never really did that again because it is a stain. This is late enough era that these pickups are patent applied for, or PAFs as they're known, sort of the holy grail of guitar pickups. There's a certain era late 59, part of 60, where Gibson ordered the wrong color, or somehow they got shipped the wrong color. They're white coils, so I'm not going to take it apart. We don't have the ability to do that here, but if those are double white PAFs, they're worth considerably more.
Really?
It adds a lot of value to the guitar, as much as maybe 10 grand more.
Wow.
Adding to its collectability is the original case and even the hang tag, items that often get lost over time. This guitar has been a part of the family's musical life for decades, played and cherished by the father and siblings alike.
Well, do you want to know what probably market value is on this at this current time?
Sure.
It's roughly around $45,000.
My father would be so incredibly pleased to find that out.
And that's if it has the double whites, which I'm assuming it probably does.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. My dad would be so proud to know that.
If these are not double white PAFs, it's going to back it down a little bit, somewhere between $6,000 and $10,000.
Around 10 years old, my father bought it in 1953 for me. And I've had that ever since. It's what I learned how to play on.
That's you here at 10 or 11 years of age?
That's my dad, and that's my teacher. I guess I was around 13 or 14 when I started actually making some money at it. Went on from there. I was on the road for a few years with a few bands, and now I'm here.
Yeah.
D'Angelico guitars were all custom-made, and this particular model came with a medium neck, a dark custom finish, and originally had a pickup, though it's no longer attached due to wear. John D'Angelico himself began his craft apprenticing with his uncle in New York City, eventually taking over the shop before starting his own guitar-making business in the early 1930s. Known as the greatest archtop guitar maker ever, D'Angelico's instruments are prized for their craftsmanship and tone. This guitar, made in 1953 during D'Angelico's prime period, had an original price tag of $325, a real steal considering its current market value.
Everything about this guitar was top of the line. And I see your father is playing a D'Angelico guitar as well. Your family has good taste. At a vintage guitar shop, would sell in the range of $30,000 to $35,000 at retail.
Yeah.
Would you mind playing it a little bit for me to let us hear it? Very nice. Beautiful. Sounded great.
In 1963, I bought that one. I was in a group on the road. A guy came in when we were rehearsing one afternoon, and he said, I'm down on my luck, $50, you can have that guitar. So that's what I paid for it, and it's been mine ever since.
The second one, a 1964 mahogany-bodied Telecaster, was purchased for $250 to match the band's uniform look on stage. What makes this even more special is an original photo from February 1964 showing the guests' band playing at the Peppermint Lounge in Miami Beach with none other than the Beatles present. Although the band was told no photos were allowed, Ringo Starr gave the nod, and that candid shot was snapped, a rare and valuable piece of music history. The appraiser explains that the photo alone could be worth around $500, but combined with the guitars, it adds significant value.
The one you bought so that you would look appropriately cool on stage is a mahogany-bodied Telecaster from 1964. Most of them are an alder body. Would probably sell for $11,000.
Wow.
Because you do have the original case with it. Now this one, even though it doesn't look as good, is worth almost twice that because it's a Telecaster custom. It has binding around the edge. The standard Telecaster is just the bare edges of the wood body, so it would probably sell close to $20,000 today.
Jeez. Whoa.
The package would probably go for at least $30,000, maybe as much as $35,000.
Wow. I didn't pay too much for them then, I guess.
Right, right.
This guest brought in a cherished Martin D18 acoustic guitar, a prized possession of her husband. He bought it about 20 to 25 years ago from a friend who inherited it but needed cash.
My husband's a guitar person, and he asked him how much he wanted for it, and I don't remember for sure, but I'm thinking maybe $150 that he paid him. After my husband got it home and did a little bit of research on it, he found it was more valuable than that. He felt a little guilty, so he went back and paid the friend probably a couple $100 more, and he's loved it ever since.
Does he play it?
He does. He plays 60s music.
The appraiser explains this particular model is highly sought after in fiddle, bluegrass, and country music circles, considered the holy grail of guitars. Though the guest originally thought it was from 1939, the guitar's stamp on the peghead revealed it's a rare 1935 model made by C.F. Martin in Nazareth, Pennsylvania. Crafted with a mahogany neck and back and sides, and topped with Adirondack spruce, the guitar is in excellent preserved condition despite natural wear from many years of playing. It still has the original ebony bridge, which is quite rare, and the guest even has the original case.
Have you had it appraised?
He has sent pictures to, I believe, Dallas, Texas, to the guitar store there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really remember what he told me. I know it was like at least 17 or 19,000. I can't remember for sure.
Well, this current market, even with things being slower, in a retail environment, this guitar would be valued at $30,000 and $35,000.
Great. Made me a believer. He always told me it was really worth a lot, but...
So he's not in trouble for buying it?
No, not at this point.
Yeah.
This guest brought in a remarkable 1953 Fender Telecaster, inherited from her grandmother, who was a dedicated string instrument teacher for nearly 5 decades. Along with a few other treasured items, this guitar stood out as a family heirloom passed down through generations. The guest fondly recalls childhood memories of her father and uncles playing music in the parlor, a testament to the family's deep musical roots.
It's a Fender Telecaster. These are commonly called blackguard teles because they made them with a black pickguard for the first few years. This one's from 1953. In late 54, they changed to the white pickguard rather than the black. The serial number is under the bridge cover. This is commonly called an ashtray because it kind of looks like an ashtray when you take it off.
Is this color, which I've seen others, with they're always darker in color and different types of...
This was the only color they made at this time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What adds to the guitar's value is the incredibly rare original hard shell case, made of pressed fiberboard, which is fragile and seldom survives the decades. The accompanying Fender Deluxe amplifier, likely purchased around the same time, completes the package. The guest shares that her grandmother carefully preserved all the receipts and paperwork from the original purchase, which cost $225, a significant investment back then.
So the guitar alone, even if it didn't have its original case or amplifier, would probably have a retail value in a specialty shop of $25,000. Now the case adds a lot to that. The case alone is worth $2,500 because they almost never survive.
Oh my gosh.
The amplifier, if being sold separately, is probably in that $2,500 range.
Excellent.
$2,500 is a pretty good estimate.
Wow,
for that.
That's amazing.
Probably have a package that could sell for at least $30,000 in today's market.
I would have never... it's definitely going to move out of the closet somewhere a little bit more important now. I know for sure it's going to move up the family line a lot. I'm shocked. I never had any clue. To just know what I've got now, it just makes it that much nicer. So thank you, Grandma. Never expected. It's wonderful.
If you love this video, then watch our other videos too, and subscribe the channel for more upcoming amazing treasure stories.